Action to the coalition wanting an NBA plan for black causes before they restart play.
I am pissed off. I want to make sure that I'm very, very clear about this. It is one thing for you to literally seize on the moment that exists primarily due to the George Floyd killing and a number of African Americans, unarmed African Americans, that have been killed while being unarmed by a police officer, to address systemic racism and the plight of systemic racism, prejudice, and beyond that has existed in our communities. But this is home. You didn't need any of this to address this issue. In 2012, there were 14 black head coaches in the National Basketball Association, okay, in a league that's at least 75% black. That number had dwindled down to 7 last season. I ain't hear a word. We got a black president of the NBA Players Association. We've got marquee, iconic figures in the world of sports whose voices resonate profoundly. I never hear a word about this from any of them publicly. Why? So when you sit up there and you make this demand now, I'm like, where the hell have you been? This stuff has been going on. We got black coaches, assistant coaches, player personnel directors, and beyond, starving for opportunities, sitting there squashed and not starving for an opportunity for years. Nobody says anything. Nobody comes to their defense. Nobody speaks up for them. Thank God. It was breaking news when David Fizdale ultimately became the coach of Memphis because LeBron and D. Wade had to speak up for him. We didn't see that happening on a regular basis. Where the hell have you been? I've been talking about this for years. All of these guys, millions upon millions of dollars. This ain't the NFL now. This ain't the NFL where you don't have guaranteed contracts and clearly the power lies with teams, executives, ownership, etc. And they're scratching and clawing an uphill climb. You can make a legitimate argument that the National Basketball Association has created more wealth amongst African Americans than any industry in the history of the United States of America. You got brothers getting paid buku dollars. Nobody said anything on behalf of these black coaches. None of them. Black executives. Nobody. And now that this happened, here you go. I'm appreciative of it. I'm thankful of it. But talk about being late to the damn party. We've been going off about this for years. And there's brothers that have lost out on opportunity after opportunity after opportunity while we see the advent and the proliferation of analytics take fold, which almost never includes black people. And these players said nothing. Oh, just go ahead. I don't want to even say anymore because I'm afraid I'm over FCC. I'm over FCC Airways. I'm scared of what I'm going to say next. I apologize, Jay and Max. I'm scared. I really am scared right now of what else I'm going to say.
By the way, I hear you, Stephen A.
Oh, this pisses me off.
I hear you, Stephen A. And I'm going to address your point directly. You see, why should sports or entertainment leagues care about social justice or devote real resources to it, goes the argument of those who don't like it. Why should they? It's not their core business. Well, these are the black people that white people seem to care about, because other avenues have been largely closed to black people throughout the history of our country. And so avenues of essentially escape from poverty and oppression have largely been in the entertainment business, entertaining, among others, white people who have closed off those avenues, sports and entertainment. And so you can see why, when those has nothing to do with their core business, why should the NBA or NFL or these leagues really care about that? Well, it's not an issue of that. It's an issue of the players who are largely African American, and by the way, their allies saying, well, wait a minute. How many other African Americans in this country have this kind of platform, have this kind of voice or power? I'm reminded, I brought it up the other week, of the scene with Spike Lee and John Turturro from Do the Right Thing. When John Turturro said something racist, his character, and Spike Lee says, why do you say that? All your favorite entertainers are black, and he mentions them all, right? And Turturro's racist character, answers by saying, well, they're different. They're more than that. Magic Johnson, Eddie Murphy, whoever, Prince, whoever, they're more than that. And so athletes and entertainers, in this case, they're both, are saying, well, okay, if that's how you see us, no, we're not. We're people, and our people are hurting. Now, Why now, Stephen A? Because this answers your point directly. Why not under normal circumstances? Because under normal circumstances, what's normal for white people who are preventing this, or for those who are preventing this, or at least not doing things to change structural racism, what's normal for them is good for them. The status quo is good for them, and it's bad for black people. Suddenly, things aren't normal. They're not normal for white people right now. And so there's a moment of great leverage here. And I think that's why you're hearing this now with this loud a voice, because it is recognized as a moment of great leverage. And the public and the private, but also the public discussion that is being had is how best to leverage it. And that's what we're going through right now.